Yo, yo. Good evening, No Excuse family. Good evening, Passport Bros. So I got a returning guest tonight, Brother Andre, man. He's well thorough. He's very eloquent and very knowledgeable on a lot of things. I brought this topic up to him actually yesterday because I noticed a couple of things, in relations to how women in the U.S. react to brothers that have wives or fiancés abroad, and how they view those things. So I'm gonna bring Brother Andre in. Yo, yo, yo.
What's up, fam?
What's good? What's good, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm having a great evening, man. I appreciate being back on your show, man. I'm a huge fan of what you've been doing, and man, I'm grateful. I'm really grateful to actually have met you and been on the prior episode, and so I appreciate being back on once again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So just give a brief intro of yourself, man, just for those who may have be their first time seeing.
Name is Andre Spence of Love Crossing Borders TV on YouTube. So anytime you guys want to subscribe, Love Crossing Borders TV. Many of you already know me. I've been living in Cali, Colombia for the last 4 years, married 2 years to wonderful Andrea Wallace. So you see my wife on the channel as well. And what we do with Love Crossing Borders, we try to help people find love across borders or fall in love with the borders that you cross. And so anytime a person trying to find some information on relocating to this country or even dating in this country, that's what we try to focus on.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I like that, man. I actually seen you had shared a post, a YouTube post that your wife did on like going through the phones. I thought that was
Yeah.
pretty good, man.
Yeah, we don't go through each other's phones ever.
Yeah, I sent that to my lady. Just like, you see this? she know what goes on in our. His wife knows what goes on in a WhatsApp group, so no need to be I
Yeah,
don't participate in that, but fellas gonna be fellas.
they do. They post it. And Andrea's so used to it. She just said, "Don't open your phone around my mom," because her mom wouldn't know. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
We gonna have to do something about how not to get caught. Well, I don't want to say caught up because not in a player sense, but
Right.
this is something that happened. How my lady like kind of seen like the photo, because in WhatsApp like photos it automatically download to your
Hmm.
phone, and so I hate when she do this. Sometimes she like, let me use your. Can I use your phone? I need to. I may take some photos on my phone, and she want to upload it on her
Hmm.
Instagram. So
Hmm.
instead of me just sending her the photos to her phone,
Hmm.
she like, let me log into my Instagram and upload these photos. But like, I didn't realize that like when she clicked the upload, like she see like the history of
Right. Right.
photos, and so she's seeing like titties and half naked women. I'm like, oh man. She like, what's this? I'm like, man, the fellas. She
Yeah.
like you.
We went through that, and Andre just stopped worrying about it because we have our own WhatsApp group as well. And Andre just, you know what? Because I was always deleting. The faster you delete, the more photos dudes are posting. And Andre's like, that's why she said, I already know what's in his phone that comes from you guys. So
Yeah, man, that's funny. That's funny, man. But
yeah.
yeah, man. Um, yeah. So a couple of something recently, and then another situation before I had came across. So I know like one of my close friends, his wife. When I was telling him about my wedding, and I wanted him to be like my best man. His wife. He told me his wife was like, like, is it real? Like, because she actually had a best friend has a best friend. I guess that was recently divorced or single, and she was like, I want to hook Rob up, and I'm like, she know I got a situation overseas, right? And he like, man, she don't really take that serious, man. And I'm just like, why? And partly I guess because she's not gonna be living in the US, I'm gonna be going over here. So I guess
Right.
initially she thought that we was just gonna be doing a long distance marriage thing, which some people may feel like that's not really real if you're doing a long distance thing. So I'm not trying to do the long distance marriage. It's me relocating, but there are
Right.
people that do the long distance marriage thing, and I don't think there's nothing wrong with it at all. So that was that situation, and then more recently, I heard a lady talk about how she was dating this guy, and he had a wife in another country, and
Mm-hmm.
she was just like, oh, that ain't, I ain't really take it that seriously, because her dating a married man, it didn't feel she didn't feel like she was dating a married man because the woman was so far away, you know.
Right.
And I was just like, wow, like why is so much belittlement to women, what I mean, to guys that got wives overseas or wives that don't live there? Why so belittlement? So, what I mean, you have pretty much kind of explained about the three P's, and I was just like, what are the three P's?
Yes.
So, kind of, what's your thoughts, man?
Okay. Uh, in regards to what I mentioned about the three P's and people not taking relationships serious or taking other people's relationships serious when it comes to long distance, because there are long distance relationships that happen in the States all the time, where the person is a truck driver, he's always on the road, or whether it's a person that is in sales or a motivator, a speaker or actor and actress, and or Beyonce and Jay-Z, they ain't always on tour together. Sometimes she's in Europe doing a European tour, and sometimes he's just at home taking care of the kids, or it may be opposite. So there is such thing as long distance relationships in the States, but when it comes to everyday people, they have a tendency of understanding that when it comes to stateside, they understand that they're that the men are that are truck drivers, men that are military, or women that are military, women that are actresses or performers. They understand everything about long distance when it comes to stateside. But as soon as somebody leaves the United States and they want to have a relationship with somebody outside the United States, everybody want to get dumb. Everybody want to pretend like there's no such thing as long distance relationships, and like there should be a mileage limitation on long distance relationships. Yet
Mm.
Beyonce can do a tour in Japan for 5 months or 4 months, at the same time Jay-Z is doing a tour in Australia, or is taking care of business in Seattle somewhere, or whatever it may be. So there is no such thing as limitation. It's just the fact that they are accustomed to it through the American rose-colored glass lenses. And that's when I came up with the three P's. Why is it that women have a tendency, US women have a tendency of not taking serious the relationships of individuals that are having relationships in other countries? And there are three P's. First P is this, and you guys may want to take notes, fellas, because you're going to go through it if you get serious with somebody.
Take notes,
First P is
fellas.
this: problematic. It's problematic for them to accept or believe the truth that America is not all that, and not everybody wants to live in America. It's not everybody wants to get married in America, even though they're married to an American. It's problematic for women in the United States to accept that concept. They can't wrap, let's say not all women, because we're not going to the extreme of all. So I'm going to repeat that. We're not using the extreme of all, but we are talking about most. I'm not talking about black women, white women, or Indian women. I'm talking about all women in the US with that westernized mindset, have such a superiority mindset that they can't see a person really falling in love in another country with somebody different, and yet you haven't relocated to that country quite yet. They can't grasp that concept. I give you a perfect example. You told your story of somebody trying to hook you up. I went through the same thing. This is my boy. He tried to hook me up with his wife's sister. I'm like, dude, I got a fiance. What are you talking about? As many times as you see me leave this country, you think I'm actually kidding? Another one of my partners, right before the marriage, he called me. Now, this was a travel partner. Is this for real, Dre? Like, is it real? Is she like 21 questions? Now, is she real? Is this the really real Dre? I'm like, man, out of all people, I figured you'd understand being a fellow traveler. So when it comes to long distance relationships, expect people to have a problem with accepting your truth. It's problematic. That's the first P. They can't grasp it because maybe they haven't experienced it, or it's not common for them to see a person from their own country in their own community actually using a passport and finding true love outside of their community, whether it be the Black community or the white community, or whether it be outside of their city. They just can't grasp it. The second P, we're going to go into details. The second P is this. They have a problem with, let me make sure I got it. They are at peace with a lie. If the United States doesn't do anything for you, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to lie to you. If you have never been lied to by a friend, family, foe, don't worry. Look at your next commercial, because I guarantee you, United States is about to tell you another lie. And we get so comfortable with lies, we're at peace with not accepting the truth. When this man says, I'm engaged and I'm happy. When I said I'm engaged and I'm happy, these people could not accept it. They were more at peace believing a lie than they were accepting the truth that we were telling them. Because America teaches you, be at peace with the lie. America will tell Black people that you were the only slave. You're the only one that went through the transatlantic situation, a transatlantic movement. But you were the main ones. You got the movies Roots. You got all the books out there. You come to find out, once you leave the United States, you find out that only 4% of all the ships that had loaded people made it to the United States. 4%. 96% of the people that were part of the trade didn't even come to the United States. They went to the Caribbeans. They went to Brazil. They went to Ecuador. They went to Colombia. But the United States will have you be at peace with the lie as a Black person that you were the only one that went through it. And so it is when it comes to relationships. They will tell you this. Check it out. They will let women have a book and a movie called Stella's Got a Groove Back, about a woman that went to another country. She went to the islands, got her back broke in by Taye Diggs. She could go back to her job in the United States with Whitney Houston. I mean, not Whitney Houston, but Whoopi Goldberg as her best friend, hyping her up. Girl, he beat you down, girl. She decided to bring him to her own country. Sponsored everything. He ain't had to do nothing but keep breaking her back in. And women went out and bought that in droves. Terry McMillan got a best-selling book out of it and a movie out of it. When the last time you saw somebody do a movie or ABC special on a Black man going out there finding love and enjoying his best life? But you ladies, y'all got a book deal out of it, and you're still going to Jamaica and getting your back broke in 3 times a year in the name of a girlfriend trip, because you are more at peace with believing the lie of the male, but you expect us to believe that you going out there Jamaica and falling in love.
Right.
Because he put you upside down, girl.
That narrative control, man.
Right. The second P is you at peace with the lie. The third P is this. You've been programmed. We all been programmed. We all were in the cave of the Matrix. Think about it. Why do we call the United States the Matrix? We don't do that happenstance, because we know we all hooked up in the back, just like Neo was, And as long as you believe the lies that the United States can, and I love the United States. Shout out to Detroit, shout out to Tampa, shout out to Chicago, shout out to Cleveland, shout out to San Francisco, all the little places I stayed, ATL. I love the United States and I love Americans. But let's be real. You got only way you can live in the United States, survive in the United States, you have to be programmed, because they don't tell you nothing about outside the borders of the United States. You barely get that much news about what's going on outside the United States. You don't know that the number one place where people from the United States are retiring are in Mexico, over 1.5 million. But they got the audacity to tell you that Mexico we building a wall to keep all those Mexicans out. No, boo. Mexico need to build a wall to keep all you Americans out. It's when the last time you saw 1.5 foreigners coming to the United States? I'll wait. 1.5 million foreigners come through Mexico into the United States. Never. You see like 30,000, 3,000. There are over 1.5 million Americans that have crossed the border into Mexico, and we got the audacity to tell them we gonna build a wall. They need to build a wall to keep us out, but we've been programmed to believe this lie. Right. You got a commercial. And I'm going to end this little rant in a second. You got a commercial for a nail. You can buy a nail. You got a commercial for a t-shirt. You can buy a t-shirt. But if you ever notice that the United States will never, ever show you a commercial for a passport, ever. You will never see the United States tell you, go learn the world. Learn more about yourself. Learn more about people. If you can't find love in your own country, there's love waiting for you in another country. United States will never tell you that there's love waiting for you around the world. The United States will have you talk about 7 billion people, but they will not let you meet 7 billion people. They'll never let you meet 7 billion people. They want your tax-paying tail to sit up there on that hamster wheel and stay where you are and criticize the rest of us that are traveling, because you have been programmed just like we were before we used our passports. So let's break it down one more time. First P is it is a problem for you to accept the truth. Second P, you are at peace with the lie that you're being told, ladies. And third, you find it. The third is you have been programmed, ladies, just like we men have been programmed. And those are the 3 P's of why women cannot accept the fact that a man, especially a black man from my neighborhood, could actually use a passport and go meet a part of those 7 billion people and fall in love. You just can't fathom it because you haven't been trained or raised to believe it. Neither were we.
That's interesting, man. That's probably why they don't see us traveling as a threat, because even, when guys vocalize traveling and I guess so-called try to put it in people's face, a lot of responses was, they'll be back. They'll be crawling back once they get done with this phase. They'll be crawling back to us, and, so I don't know, I don't know why it's not unbelievable like that. It's crazy, man. Like how they just don't got confidence in us finding something that's wrong.
You get to find out the truth of how black women, especially I say women in the United States, but let's just break it down in our community. You get to, nothing against my sisters, mind you, but you get a chance to find out the truth about what black women think about you once you use that passport. All that we support our brothers, that's out the window. You might as well be born outside the United States once you get your passport. I'll repeat that. Once you start using your passport to black women, you might as well have been born outside the United States, because we dang sure ain't gonna treat you like the rest of the brothers that's still here. We're gonna talk about you. Oh, you only like Asian women. Where'd that come from? You only like Russian women. You only like Latin women. Okay. You do realize there are black Russian women, right? You do realize that in the Asian world, there are women that are darker than you in the Asian population, right? You do realize in the Latin population, there are more blacks of Latin descent than there are of African American descent, because if you take Brazil, Colombia, Peru, and all of Uruguay, and just take those countries of black people, I didn't talk about the Caribbeans yet. They far outweigh the little 10, 12, 13 million blacks that we got in the United States. So when I say I'm going to Brazil, you automatically think of the Eurocentric Brazilian. If I say I'm going to Russia, you think about the European Russian and not think about that there's some black sisters out there in Russia, because you've been programmed and you don't know any better. Because I didn't know any better. We didn't know until we started using our passports. I ain't never heard no Afro-Colombians. Now I'm learning about Afro-Colombians, Peruvians, black people in Ecuador, black people in the Antarctic. I'm learning, like, what? Black people in Russia? Senators and congressmen got power and authority in Russia. Black people? Yeah.
So
black people.
So what do you say about, let's say women say, well, you don't really love her if you're not bringing her to your country, you know, if they question her value or your love for her?
I tell them this. I tell every woman, I tell every man this. The greatest love I have for my wife is that I don't bring her to the United States. I repeat that. If you love your woman, don't drag her to the United States of America. It's over. It's sliding down. It's already on the downslide, whether you live there or not. You already know in the next 15 years, other than military might, United States is not going to be the number one economy. It's going to be somebody else. It always switches. No kingdom stays at the top. Name one country that stayed at the top. Egypt? Nope. Persia? Nope. Mesopotamia? Nope. What? London? Nope. None. No. I mean, UK? Nope. None. Nobody stayed at the top forever. So it's America's time to kind of like slide down a little bit. Somebody else is going to be number one. It just happens. This is global. But America has taught you to never believe that, because your little tax paying butt, you better stay here. You better not go nowhere to another country paying taxes there. You better stay here and feed Biden and Trump and make sure they got money to build walls at your expense. So that's what the problem is in regards to the United States. We're so misled. And when it comes to bringing your loved one to the United States, if a guy wants to bring his wife or his girlfriend to the United States, so be it. Well, he only wants you for a green card. Boo. Stop watching 90 Day Fiance. It takes 3 years to get a green card, and that ain't guaranteed. So if I take my wife and take her out of her career, which she went to school for here, all those years of schooling, all those years of building up her career as an accountant, all those clients she has, she got to throw all that out the window because she can't transfer her resume to the United States. Her college credits here don't transfer to the United States. So if I'm taking my wife, well, she got to do nails, she got to be a maid, she got to clean up hotels, she got to be a waitress, and I'm saying that I love her. Okay, I don't want to give my wife that type of love. I don't want to give my wife that type of love. So all y'all that think that we about to drag some women to the United States, no, boo. Whenever women, and I've heard this just like you had, bro. Whenever women say to me, well, you'll be back, I'm like, baby, there's over 251 developed countries in the world. I'll be dang if I drag my tail back to the United States and I got 250 more countries to go live in. There are too many countries that are just doing just as good or even better in many areas than the United States. We ain't number one in education. You are 51% more likely to die of heart failure in the United States. The United States has one of the worst diets in the world. Over 80% of Americans are obese, with your big butts. I was like that too. I say it. I was when I left the United States, I was 265, 6'2". Now I'm 235, looking good. At 54. At 54 in the United States, this was not Andre. The United States, this was Andre, the big head, the big peanut head.
Wow.
So when education, come on, Germany blows us out when it comes to education. Then you get to go to college for free in many countries. Many countries already have universal health care. Many countries, United States is only 2 countries in the world that do not have universal health care. The United States and the island of New Guinea are the only 2 countries. You can say third world, the only 2 countries you can't get free medical and free prescriptions. The United States and the island of New Guinea that's way out east. So when people sit back and say, you come back to the United States, what the hell for? For your bad food? So I can get back and be fat again? No, I love you. I might be venting, and I love the United States, and I love my American people, but I ain't stupid. It's over, like I said, it's over 251 countries. I'm gonna live in Antarctic with the igloos before I head back to the United States. Bet that. I couldn't even take 3 days back there. I was supposed to be there a week. I was like, oh, I can't take this. I'm out. I
know, man.
And plus, you don't want dudes like us back in the United States. I promise you. We have passport arrogance now, ladies. You don't want brothers that got passport arrogance back in the States. You want us to leave. Don't come back. All the brothers that you criticize, they got passport arrogance. We don't want to talk to you. We don't want to date you. We don't want to mate you. We ain't touching your butt. You could be our friend. You could be my bowling buddy. We could play chess together. You could be my Uno and spades partner. But you ain't never got to worry about me trying to kiss you again. I got too many beautiful women around the world, just like my wife, that I can enjoy and have a good time with, and not got to deal with women in the States with their arrogant rejection, or if I try to open up a door with them, they got an attitude, and I'm independent. Don't worry about it, boo. I got passport arrogance. You ain't never got to talk to me like that, because I ain't gonna never ask you like that. I want to meet your pastor, your cousin, your mama, uncles, Ray, Nook, none of them. You ain't never got to worry about that. I don't even look back. You could be the finest chick walking this way. You ain't got to worry about me looking back. I got passport arrogance. I know 500 that look better than you.
Now, what do you think about this? I wonder if it's fascinating to them, for them to conceptualize like we can go long periods without sex. Because if we got a situation overseas, that means we're not having sex on a regular. You know what I mean? If we're faithful to our significant other. So right. They're not used to seeing guys in control of their penis. You know, they're used to seeing guys that just gotta get a nut, you know.
and we, maybe many of us, we did go through that stage, but for the right times and the right woman, and you know that if I do the right thing, I can get the hell out the United States faster. That's motivating. I got a choice. I could be smashing these US chicks, or I can go ahead while I'm in the States, get my money up and get the heck up out of here. So when it comes to smashing these chicks in the States, you can have them. I'm getting my money up and I'm getting the hell up out of here. And I know I got a wife that look better than these women, that's going to treat me better, that's going to cook for me better, that got a career, and she talked to me better. Man, y'all ain't worth it. Women don't realize this. Yes, men will smash anything, but we won't smash all the time. We know how to do discipline just like y'all do. I didn't touch once I start getting serious with my wife, it took me about a year to come back and forth. That means that basically for a year, other than when I was here in Colombia, that's the only time I'm smashing. But guess how much money I made? Guess how much money I stacked? Guess how soon I could easily get the hell out the United States, because I stacked and I wasn't smashing no chicks in the States. I wasn't being distracted, in other words, because once you got a woman outside the country, everybody in the United States ain't nothing but a distraction. If I smash you, you a distraction. I could have been making money while I was smashing you. You're nothing but a distraction to me. You're not even an attraction anymore. You're a distraction. I don't talk to you. I don't bother you. Don't talk to me. I don't care if you don't like me. You only like Latin women. Yeah. You only like Asian women. Mm-hmm. You only like them European. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, think what you want to do, boo. I'm making this money because I'm about to get the hell up out this country, and I could care less about your opinion, because you ain't gonna see me again in life. Next time you gonna see me is on YouTube. Tune in. My life, I'm like T.I. My life's your entertainment, girl. You better stop it. You better stop it, girl.
That's a heavy level of rejection to know that it's a man that women naturally think men are looking for somebody, right? I remember I was at a bar by myself. I was at a bar after work, just having some drinks, and it was like some ladies that kind of sat next to me, and I'm just small talking things like that, and
Mhm.
and I think and me being nice, I think I just offered to like buy a drink or something like that, and somebody, and then one of her friends alluded to like go and get her number if like I was looking for something. I was just like, why do women just automatically think that a man is just looking for something? Like
Because
I'm
in this
being
we
nice.
we're like that, man. We were like that. Let's be real. Prior to
Yeah, yeah,
you know, clarity, we were like that. I don't get mad at any of the sisters in the States for how they think about us. I don't get mad
yeah,
at any of the brothers or how they still act like, because they ain't going nowhere. Think about it. 99.9% of brothers ain't even got a passport other than military brothers.
right.
We were fortunate. We're blessed to be some of the original guys over the last 10 to 20 years to even take advantage of using a passport on a regular basis. We ain't even just using it for like, we about to go on a nice little cruise. No, we travel. So I don't get upset when women think that we're like every other dude in the States because they think that we are a part of the States until we tell them, nope, no, boo. No, I'm not part of the United States. I'm American in that aspect. But as far as the mindset and being locked up in the matrix, and every time I see a chick, I know I'm gonna smash her tonight. No, boo. You will never see this sex again. Ever. Ever. Ain't no chick in the States gonna ever be able to say, I had him. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Yeah, you had me when I was what? How old? 50? I'm 54. You had me at 49. What? That's the last time somebody got some Andre at 49.
Uh,
Please. That means that like the last time somebody got some Andre, Trump got elected. That's the last time somebody got some Dre.
the last time I had some in the United States was May of 2017. That was like my last girlfriend in the United States. After that, so that's like yeah, that's almost 5 years, 4 years since I've
Yeah,
smashed something in the United States.
yeah.
And a lot of my homies was like, man, I don't know how you could do it, man. Like I need to have something in between, like traveling. I'm just like, man, it's not worth it, man. At
It
least
ain't.
for me, it's not worth it. You know.
Yeah, and,
So
and, and that discipline that you gather in the States, it rolls over to when you're in your new country. So dudes be wondering, like, how the heck you in South America in Colombia, surrounded by all them Brazilians, them Venezuelans, them Costa Ricans, all them beautiful Afro-Colombian sisters. And how you ain't, dude, come on, Dre, let's be real. You ain't got nothing on the side, dog. You telling me you ain't got nobody you done smash it other than your wife since y'all been together. For real, for real. Seriously, for real, for real. Ain't no
it's
chicks
like
on my
it's
side.
like it's like going to a buffet hungry and going to a buffet when you're full. If I go to a buffet when I'm
Right.
full, it's just like, you know, I know it's
Yeah.
there if I get hungry, but I'm full.
But you built that discipline the time while you're still in the States. And that's what I meant. That's how I built mine. Because I was able to be faithful from afar, it's easy now. It's easy now because it took work to be faithful from afar. It took trust and belief in myself as well as the other person believing in us. So now, when you get to the place where you and that person together, it's nothing. It's nothing. Do I notice and appreciate the beauty of a woman? Yeah, I ain't stupid. Me and my wife talk about that all the time. We'll see somebody and be like, man, she killing that outfit. She looking good. But at the end of the day, I ain't running up on the chick like, oh, I gotta get your number, baby. Blah, blah, blah. I gotta have this one. No, because I built that discipline, and you're building that discipline while you're away from that person.
But Miss
But a
Shine
lot of
says
dudes,
the
your boys can't
programming.
comprehend that.
I'm gonna read this comment. Miss Shine says the programming in both American men and women runs deep. Yeah, I agree.
True, True.
definitely agree.
True.
I was going to say something about just the options, like let's say in these Latin countries. See, this is the thing I had talked about on another channel, and somebody asked me about the difference of traveling versus not traveling. I was just like, I thought I knew what it feels like to be a man until I travel overseas. Then I really feel like what it means to be a man, and what I said was that to be a true man, boys think about sex. Boys think about when I'm gonna get the next nut. A man don't have to think about that because that's automatic. That's like you're gonna eat. You're not thinking about that. You can focus totally on your purpose. And when you can focus totally on your purpose, you ain't gotta worry about, you know, chasing tail or having consistency. Because men that's not virgins need, once we need that release, once we have sex
Right.
in our life, we need that release to
Right.
function. Sometimes, I need that release before I go to work because like that
Right.
clears
Right.
me and I can focus. So being, and so with that is like you have some of these Latin places and women there take care of their man, physiologically, sexually, emotionally, and all that. In the United States, you hear about when men get married, they say the sex goes away when you get married. Men don't really have an out for that in the United States. They don't have an outlet. They don't have a casa they can hit up or wherever. They don't have places to go like that. Like the women control, access to sex. So men don't have that. So they kind of can be miserable. And women don't. A lot of women don't feel, they don't feel threatened by another woman or another outlet a man may have because we don't have certain institutions here. But a place like Colombia, Brazil, a man in that situation can say, okay, if he was going through like a bad marriage or a bad situation, a man has he has an outlet to still, feel like a man and go on his purpose, and probably come home to his wife with a smile on his face, like, I still had a good day,
And a lot of the wives don't trip.
Yeah.
And a lot of the wives don't trip. A lot of the wives here are like, don't put it in my face. I ain't trying to have no kids. Don't bring no diseases here. And just don't be messy. Don't have my mother walk up on you. Don't have my cousins walking up on you and you holding somebody. Be a man about yours. And I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Me and Andre talk about that all the time. I'm like, I don't want to know. Don't be messing up my mood because you feel guilty. Don't mess up my mind because you feeling guilty and you try to get something off your chest. Right? I say ride it to the grave, girl. Ride it to the grave.
Right.
Same thing with me. She said the same thing with me. She like, don't be messing my head up, my head space up because you feeling guilty about something, Andre. Tell it to the Lord, but don't tell it to me. For real, man. That's straight serious.
So,
but yeah, go ahead. I was about to say, and don't forget your thought. The other reason why, especially in our community, in Black communities, that women can't understand or grasp the concept of us as Black men finding love in other countries, because they have a sense of ownership. We gave birth to you. We brought you to this planet. Your mama Black, your grandma, they always throw that one in your face. Your mama Black, your grandmama Black, your auntie's Black. If you got a daughter, your daughter's Black. They have an American sense of entitlement, not realizing you're like, yeah, but you do know my wife in Brazil is Black or my wife in Colombia is Black. So is it that I'm owned by Black women globally, or am I owned by you, Afro-American women? And you feel entitled. And if I break that entitlement, I've broken off from the Black culture. but my wife in Colombia is blacker than you are. You see what I'm saying? They can't grasp the concept of, see, this is what I'm learning. The United States programs us so much, even in the black community, even our ministers program us to only think about black in the circle of the in the sphere of United States. But we are never taught to look at black from a global perspective, a little bit about Africa, but from the perspective of that there are black people in Australia, and you can fall in love with a black in Australia. You can fall in love with a black woman in Germany. You can fall in love with a black woman in Thailand or Singapore or Philippines. Black sisters do not give sisters in those countries credit because they act like those sisters don't exist. I post, and I know you do this, I post on our Facebook page so much Afro-Colombian stuff that they cannot deny the existence of Afro-Colombians because most sisters have never even thought about the concept of black people living in South America other than Brazil, and they still don't grasp the concept of black people in Brazil. Right. The closest that they get is either think about black in Caribbeans on the Caribbean islands, or they think about, they don't even consider blacks, all the blacks in Cuba. They just think about Jamaica, St. Thomas, Barbados, or parts of Africa. But as far as ownership, let's go back to what I was talking about. And don't forget your thought like that I mentioned before. As far as ownership, they actually think they own us to actually say you're supposed to marry within the umbrella of United States black. You can't marry a black Colombian. You can't marry a black El Salvadorian, black Ecuadorian, all those black people in Panama, all those black people in Mexico. You can't marry one of those. You're supposed to marry one of us. What? The way you treat me and talk to me? Please. What? Please, you'll never get a ring. Even if I was single, you would have never got a ring. You never get a ring from me. No. I got passport arrogance. You should have never let me get a passport. That's what you shouldn't have did. You should have snuck in my wallet. You should have snuck in my bag the day I was going to the post office to give them my passport. You should have snuck in there and burned my passport application. It's too late now. Too late now. I ain't going back.
That's funny about the passport arrogance, man. I had another comment, but something came to mind. So I remember talking to a lady at the bar, and I was talking about, I guess she thought I was interested in her, outside of that. So we was talking about children, and she already had children. She was like, "Do you want to have more children?" Because I have a son that's right. 21 now. So she's like, "You want to have more children?" I'm like, "Yeah, but not." Yeah, appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. What I was gonna say, I was like, I'll have another child, but not in the United States. And like her whole mood, interest like changed. She was like, what? She was like, why wouldn't you have in the United States? She was like, because of child support, or because this. I was like, because you know the dynamic, the family court, favors the woman. It's not 50-50, it's not 51-49, is drastically, favors women. And I was just like, yeah, I would have a kid in another country. So, I guess she wanted another kid with a man in the U.S., but she just couldn't accept the fact that I wanted a kid, but not with an American woman.
Remember when you was a kid and you was going on school trips and you had to take that permission slip to your mom or dad and have them fill out the permission slip so you can go on a school field trip to the museum or to the park with all the rest of your classmates? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That's how black women treat us. Like, we need to fill out a permission slip to use our passports and have our own minds and our own thoughts. Like, we need permission from them. Boo, get mad. I don't care. Ladies, I do it. If I didn't understand what we were doing, in all sincerity, if the sisters was going out and they were marrying brothers in other countries and I never had a passport, I ain't gonna lie, I wouldn't understand the concept either. If the sister said, I retire in 3 years from my job, my husband is in Jamaica or in DR, because that's where they get their back broke in the most. Let's be real, ladies. Let's be real. I wouldn't understand it either, and I would probably have my eyebrow up, like, really? So I understand where the women are coming from, because I try to put myself in their mindset of they don't know any better. That's the third P, programming.
I'm gonna give you a fourth P too. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Master P. Give me the fourth P.
They don't like us protecting ourselves, because when you talk about not bringing a woman to the United States, when you talk about having a child outside the United States, we protecting ourselves. You know what I mean?
True. Let me write that one down.
they
with the highlighter.
Like even though even they try to be empathetic to say, okay, we know the system is not fair to you guys, but I'm a good woman, or I don't treat my baby daddy. A lot of women, they'll say that they're outside the norm and things like that, but the issue is not with you individually. It's about the culture and system that you are a part of. Whether you participated or not, you have it at your disposal. You know what I mean? That's the upper hand. I know some women that will be down, that probably would never divorce their husband, that probably want to raise their kids with their father, and will never be like those statistics. But the problem I have with the perfect woman, the Claire Huxtable, is that you have a system behind you where at any time, it's like me working a contractor for me working as a contractor. Yeah, I may be a great employee. They may say, you know what, we're gonna keep you on, when we love you, we're gonna keep you here, but they could end my contract like that.
Right.
Yep.
and it's hard for them to have a empathetic ear, because I go back to that P of being programmed to the first two P's, programmed to the first P of being problematic with accepting the truth. How many times have you heard a sister say, I'm happy for you? The only time I hear it now is on Facebook, because I've been here for 4 years. So they're like, oh, he's really living his life. And when they see the videos, they're like, oh, they done bought a car. They about to buy a house. Oh, they doing big. Okay, go ahead, Dre, do your thing. But prior to, sisters ain't saying, you know what, I'm glad for brothers. Go ahead, brother, live your dream. Sisters, I ain't have my own sister tell me to live my dream. Live your best life.
Oh, let me answer this.
Go ahead.
Messiah, she said, I get it, but I do understand that Black American culture and history is completely different. A Black person in Brazil may not understand the implications of slavery and history of this country.
How is it that they would not understand it, sister? And thank you for that statement. But I would say it's the opposite, because most of the slave ships, I shouldn't use that term on your channel. I don't want to mess the algorithm up. But most of the individuals of the trade, the transatlantic trade, most of those boats went to South America. They went to Brazil. Sister, 4% of the boats went to United States. Think of anything that can you think of eating 4% of a pizza? Having 4% of your car, sleeping on 4% of your bed. Only 4% of the ships even went to landed in the United States. Most of them went to Brazil. Brazil got the #1 amount of ships. Then Colombia came through. Then the Caribbean islands came through, and they got ships. But when it got to United States, just 4%. That's what you don't learn in the States. They don't tell you the true story of the trade. They tell you our version, the 4% version. You actually think that before getting my passport, I actually thought we were the majority that got the ships. I thought a few went to the Caribbeans. I thought a few went to Brazil. I didn't know Brazil got most of the ships. So if anybody should understand the transatlantic trade, it should be Brazil more than anybody. If the person that got the most ships should understand it more than our little 4%. But since we've been programmed, we actually think nobody else can understand the transatlantic situation better than us with our little 4% of the ships. And Brazil got what, good 30% of the ships. So if anybody would understand the concept of the transatlantic, it would be Brazil far more than us. So that would be a farce system. But like I said, we've been programmed to think that our story is the majority story. And come to find out, it ain't. It's just a 4% story. And so now you got 96% of Black history of that trade that you need to learn. Because that's what I'm doing. I'm learning it.
I'm gonna say that the programming outside of the US, I would say it's almost as much damaging. I mean, we went through a lot. We was fortunate. Racism, I'll say this, racism in English colonized places, which was mainly United States.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't do a lot of racial mixing as Latin America did. That was due to racism.
You did. You're right. You're right.
We went through, like she mentioned, Jim Crow segregation. That actually that actually made us stronger and benefited. We have Black universities because of segregation. We had to identify as Black versus white. Mm-hmm. You go to Colombia, they refer to themselves as Colombians before anything.
Colombians.
They don't even in Brazil, they don't have applications where say Black, white, Asian, yellow, like that. So the fact that we had to be separate, we able to create our own. We have our own talk shows. We have the Good Times. We have the Martins. We have Living Color. We have all these things. We know our Black history leaders, W.E. Du Bois, Harriet Tubman, Martin Luther King. We have these civil rights leaders. These other countries, by Brazil and Colombia, by them, quote unquote, including Black people, including them as Brazilians and Colombians, those Black people never was forced to create their own. And so now they're really far behind. They don't have a plan.
I was about to say the same thing. You're right. They're doing their little civil rights movements right now. They're going through their assassinations of civil rights leaders right now. I always say this, that because of what you just mentioned, they're 50 years behind us. They're doing their picketing and we shall overcome right now in South America compared to North America. So they're going to get there, but we have to allow them to go through their movement like we went through our movement. But you're so right. And it's kind of funny. Andre and I, before even this live stream, maybe 30 minutes ago, were just talking about, is there a difference between Black women in Colombia and European so-called white women in Colombia? And Andre, like, we don't do that. We do classes like economic classes, like this person is rich, this person is middle class, this person is poor. But a Colombian woman, no matter what color is, she's Colombian. Right. So she said, we don't do the, like y'all do in the United States, like that girl light skin, that girl dark skin, that girl got good hair. We don't do all that. We don't do the the white girl different black. She said Colombia is Colombia, Brazilians are Brazilians, and in the United States, you're not taught that concept. Women in the United States are like, I'm Black and I'm proud. Cool. White girls are like, white power. Cool. Asian girls are like, hey, we over here too. Latin girls are like, I'm over here too, Poppy. So, but it's separated. You're never told that you are American until you get a passport and you leave out the United States, and all of a sudden the Black girl is an American.
Right.
The Asian girl, she's an American. The white girl, as soon as she uses her passport, she's an American.
Right.
She's not a white girl per se. I mean, it's obvious, but it's not celebrated as much or put down as much as the battle back and forth in the United States. That's another reason. That's you know what kind of hurts me in regards to this disappointing mindset that black women have a misconception of us when we travel and fall in love and get married, that they don't realize that it's more to the puzzle than just the woman. Black men are tired of the system itself. I got stopped by the police coming from the club the other day, right? Me and my boy, we went to go salsa dancing, had a good time. We coming out, 4 o'clock in the morning, club closed at 6, so we're like 4 o'clock, 4:30. Woo! Police pull up next. Check this out. Didn't feel threatened, weren't worried about the police officers. It was kind of funny because when I let my window down, they were like, they weren't expecting, first of all, a brother to be in the driver's side in a new truck from the States. It's one thing to see a brother from down here because a lot of brothers in Cali have, really nice cars and stuff like that. But to see a brother from the States, like, okay, he must got this. This must be a rental. I pulled out my Colombian driver's license. They're like, oh, he got a driver's license? Okay, do you have your cell dealer? I pull my cell dealer ID out. Bam. Do you have your registration and your insurance? Oh, yeah, I got you, bro. They like, okay, sir, have a good evening. I didn't feel that nervousness that you feel even when police in the States are following you. I didn't feel that driving while black. As soon as I saw the sirens, I didn't feel like, oh man, I'm about to get arrested. I wasn't even a drinker. I was a designated driver. But in the United States, there's a system of if they just riding behind you, you like, see, he must be running my plates. I'm on my way to work. I ain't bothering nobody. I ain't got nothing on my record. He gonna pull you over anyway. You don't have to. That's what black men, ladies, that's what you don't realize. That's what we're trying to get away from also. The unhealthy foods. We're coming to these other countries where growth modified organisms or your corn syrup filled foods are illegal in other countries. Ladies, your Doritos, illegal. Your pizza, illegal. Your hamburgers, illegal. Those bleached white eggs that you have to refrigerate in the United States, but no other country in the world refrigerates eggs, illegal in other countries. You are 50% more likely in the United States to die of heart failure than any other country in the world. The reason why the United States is considered to have some of the best medical, because you need it. Other countries focus on health. United States focus on prescriptions and making sure you got a hospital that they can put you into so they can take all the rest of your money before you die. That's what we're trying to get away from. Y'all keep on focusing on, oh, he just going out there for the ladies. Ladies, we are tired. And Marcus Garvey was right. Even though he never made it outside the United States, we love what Malcolm did. We love what Martin did. But we got to give credit what credit is due. Marcus Garvey said, get the hell out. And many of us are saying, you know what? That brother was right too.
Yeah, he was.
Though Martin and Malcolm and Stokely Carmichael and John Lewis and all the and W.E. Du Bois and all the other civil rights leaders, all the way down from Frederick Douglass, those guys were right. But my boy Marcus Garvey was right too. So there's going to continue to be a group of brothers getting the hell out. And one thing that you ladies are not giving us credit for. Do you know how many black men are buying up condos in other countries, buying apartments, starting businesses that they couldn't get a liquor license in their own city, but they could go to DR, got a liquor license, and now they own 3 restaurants.
Yep.
Y'all ain't giving us credit for that. Y'all not giving us credit for how many poor people that we give money to on a regular basis that you don't never hear about. You just think we tricking our money up. but you never hear about what we're doing on a regular basis, feeding the hungry. You know how much food during COVID, thousands upon thousands of dollars that me as a black man and my wife gave to the black community as far as food in 2020 and 2021. But y'all don't hear that story. Y'all just hear what you want to hear. He only over there because he over there tricking with them Latin girls. So why y'all believe in that? I ain't blaming you. But what I'm saying is there's a lot more to the story that you're willing to accept because you've been programmed to be at peace with the lie, and you've been programmed to not with the other one, and you find it problematic to believe the truth. And we were like that too, sisters. We were the exact, and for you brothers, because there's a lot of you brothers that's on YouTube criticizing us. Oh, they over there for the ladies. Like I just said, there are so many. This is the other thing. Before I let you go ahead, brother. Do you know how many brothers are gonna know 2 or 3 languages? We always look at our African brothers that be like, I know 5 languages. How does African dude know 5 languages? You gonna start seeing brothers, our kids know 2 or 3 languages. And the brother that have kids in other countries, that child gonna be born with 2 passports. 2. Just because this man have a child in Colombia, his child gonna have opportunity to have a passport. And so my kids, and when we move to Europe, guess how many passports my kid gonna get when they born? 3 passports: a European passport, a Colombian passport because the mama's Colombian, and a U.S. passport because the daddy's from the U.S. And y'all want to criticize us for all that we building over the next 10 years? Y'all better let these black men go and do what we need to be doing to spread the name of African Americans outside of Americans, because you better believe Africans, they complain when African dudes go to America. So why y'all complain about us leaving America and making better lives?
Right.
Because you've been.
And add the 4th P, man. Protect. We want to protect our wallets too and our legacy. You know,
say it again, Pastor.
We want to protect our pockets and legacy. You know, we have a culture now, and I didn't want to believe it, but now it's evident. Women have shown and stated that they want to be single moms. They want to be, a lot of them want to be single moms. So a man that wants to raise his children, you kind of have to look overseas to a woman that still values a 2-parent household. You know, it's hard to have it's hard to have it in the U.S. because women, a lot don't feel like if I'm not happy, if we can't work it out, then, you know, I'm gonna take the children and, you know, you pay child support and we set up some visitation. But a lot of men didn't want to have children. I don't want to sign up for that. No man. Men typically want to be around their kids. You know, we're not going to talk about the deadbeats or the men that's not ready. I'm talking about the majority. Majority of men that have children put that seed in you because he saw a family structure. You know, right. Men typically, especially in a marriage, men typically don't leave situations. You know, whether, you know, if a woman gains weight or the attraction phase, a man typically stays. He toughs that out, you know. And that was the reason. I don't want to get too far on the subject, but that was the reason why, you know, the laws changed for women, because women were, I'm gonna say white women were giving up their careers to be with their husband, and then the husband leave the woman for a younger or more prettier wife. So in those situations, yes, she should be compensated. You know, if he wants to leave for a hot young tenderoni and you sacrificed and you don't have anything because of the marriage, yeah, he should be giving you that.
Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates.
You should.
All the women that's stuck by them dudes, yeah.
But black men didn't cause that. Yeah, Dr. Dre. But those laws was because of what white men were doing to women. It wasn't what was black men was doing. We wasn't we didn't have money to be trying to chase no young, leave a wife for a young tenderoni. We were there for our kids. Black men may have cheated and had babies on the side, but we wasn't leaving our wife, for the most part. But yeah, you mentioned some good points about brothers buying real estate overseas. And to be honest, just the way black men travel, we travel the way we think in the U.S. We think economically. We don't think of, most of us don't think about, we think about spending within our means. So when we go to these countries, when we go on a date, we spend it within our means. The type of hotel we stay or Airbnb you stay, we're spending within our means. Getting married, my wedding is economical. Some people chose not to have a wedding, but there's no pressure behind it. In the US, I got people that spend 20, 30, 40,000 on a wedding, under pressure to spend that type of money. So yes, black men and women, we should understand how women like to spend money. And a lot of us do cater that, but women should understand how men like to save money and not necessarily be cheap, because women, they'll go to Europe, they'll go to Dubai, they'll go to all these places where either the euro is stronger than a dollar, or they'll go to these places that's expensive to me, but we go to places go to places that's less expensive. So we travel different. You know what I mean? So that's another disconnect, that we want to protect our pockets too. You know what I mean? Outside.
That's so true. Well, I give you a perfect example, and I think I mentioned this on your other on the last time I was here. Where in our place right here, huge place, 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom. Our building is only 5 years old. Right next to us, we have a lemon tree park, just full of lemon trees. Up on our terrace, we've got a multi-million-dollar view of mountains and beautiful scenery. We have washer and dryer unit. We have all utilities included, including cable, Wi-Fi, all the way through. We've got a parking garage for our truck. We have security that walks around all day long. We have vaulted 10-foot vaulted ceilings. We pay $360 a month. We're talking about if we were in New York right now with this apartment, $2,500 a month to $3,000 a month all day long for all that we get. So when this brother is saying, you see what I'm saying? When we're not living cheap. Like I said, I live in a nice suburban area, nice homes, quiet. We're only 5-minute walk from Chippy Choppe Mall, one of the major malls in the city. Everything is close to me. Hospitals are close to me. The grocery stores are close to me. If Andre's going with the truck, I ain't got to worry. I'm in walking distance from my gym. It's the same type of gym that we get in the States. The same equipment, same everything. But they tell us in the United States that when you I was in a I remember last year me and Andre was walking through home, I think it's Home Center. Yeah, Home Center. Home Center is their version of IKEA / Lowe's. And we're walking through. I said, Andre, you do know people in the United States think y'all still live in the jungles. And she said, what? I said, yeah, they actually think that Colombians living in the jungles. She said, I said, yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at all the same modern stuff. I'm seeing all the Gucci. Am I lying, brother? The Gucci stores down here. I'm seeing some of the best Mercedes and Audis riding down the streets down here. I'm seeing people living in houses that will blow homes away in the United States. I'm seeing women riding horses. I know that horse is $100,000, but these people living in the jungle. I'm sitting up here walking through a mall that's even more modern than some of the malls back home. But we're living in the jungle. Here in Colombia, the dollar is worth $4. So if, let's say my worst month, I make 2,000. Actually, I made 8,000 on my worst month.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? On my best month, let's say my best month last year was 35,000. That's times 4. So in 1 month, I was equivalent to almost $130,000 to $140,000 in the first month, in 1 month. But you can't get that in the United States because you're constantly told to spin. Your Jordans can't keep up with these Jordans. They can't keep up with the Yeezys. They can't keep up with the LeBrons. You're constantly told to purchase. You constantly on this just because you niggas ain't up on this. You're constantly, ladies, every magazine tell you what you got ain't it no more.
Mm-hmm. Uh-oh, you froze a little bit, brother. Froze.
We back. Your man, he ain't it no more. Mm-hmm. Everything the Essence magazines all the way to the CoverGirl magazines, every single one of them tell you, ladies, you ain't it. You need to spend some more money to become the it girl. The shorts that you had that was in last year, they ain't in no more. Mm-hmm. Your weave, that weave ain't in. You got to get the lace. Oh, we got the lace that put the baby here now. Everything you do, ladies, they constantly tell you one thing. You ain't it no more. So you can spend more money. Same thing with men. But when you go to another country, you don't know. You don't need I don't need no gold around my neck to pull a dime. I don't need to have the hottest. I don't need a Rolex. What? Come to Colombia with Jordans on. That's cool, but Colombia is Adidas country. So what's your point? What's your point? You ain't got to do all that. But in the United States, the reason why 85% of Americans work in jobs that they don't like and 85% of Americans do not have savings put to the side because you're spending so much money with keeping up with the Joneses because you were told and programmed to do that. You broke. Even if you're making 80,000, 100,000, you're spending what? You make 100,000 or 120,000, ladies. You're spending 100 of it and you barely scooting through. You living paycheck to paycheck trying to keep up with the Joneses. Why? Because the magazine told you ain't. Your last outfit ain't. Your new car ain't. So you got to continue to spend to keep up with the Joneses. Same thing with men. But when you leave the United States, you ain't got to do all that. All you got to do is be a good, decent person. That's all black men want to be felt for. They just want to be loved as a decent person and find a decent person to be in love with. Not somebody that's going to say, hypergamy, you got to pay for this. You got to treat me like a queen. I'm a princess. Look at me. I'm a dime. Boo. I would rather take that instead of spending $500 on buying a dinner for you. I would take $250, get a flight to South America that's round trip, get a hotel room for $50 for 2 nights, have a great time with somebody, and I can still come home with $100, and I'd have had a better time at that time period than take you out on one date. On one date, I could go have a great time in another country. You think I'm about to waste my time with you? It ain't gonna happen, boo. But here we go. Mm-hmm. Ladies, it's the same for us. Use your passport. Find your good man. If them brothers in the States ain't acting right, don't waste your time no more. Find you a good. It's one of my closest friends down here, the Colombia dude. He married to a sister from the States.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Sisters man, it's more sisters with passports than men.
Yeah.
So, sister, find your love. Tomorrow morning, get your passport application. Go ahead, fill it out. Go to CVS, get your little photos taken. CVS or Walgreens. Go ahead to the post office, pay that $130, get your passport, and go ahead, go to Jamaica, get your back broke in like you was Angela Bassett, or go ahead, go to DR, whatever you got to do. But you ain't got to be putting up with that mess from no man in the States. I wish you would. If I was in the States, I'd tell my daughter, girl, I know you're 3. Here's your passport. She ain't got to put up with none of that mess from no dude in the States. And I tell these ladies the exact same thing. You ain't got to deal with them clowns in the States that's putting babies up in you every time you turn around and you got weight on you. Now he want to cheat on you with the young girl. You ain't got to put up with all that. No, boo. Especially if you ain't got no kids and you just got a little career. You ain't got to go no more girls trips because half of them heifers anyway. Go on your own. You know how many sisters I've met that's traveling on their own with their passport and they ain't got to worry about no headache and they getting their back broke in by the men that's going to appreciate them and treat them right. Please. I ain't just talking about the dudes, ladies.
And lick their toes and everything.
Yeah, what licking toes and booty holes? What you talking about? You coming back on the plane? You crying getting back on the plane because you missing him so much because he did some magical, mystical stuff. He just sparkled some Jamaican stuff on top in between your legs before y'all got started. You ain't never had nobody do that to you.
Yeah, I definitely don't mind helping the sisters know where to go to find what black men. You know, and if y'all want, and a lot of them won't just babies. You know, if you don't want to deal with a man, you know, and you know, maybe go overseas and get pregnant, and now you could be a single mother with no headache. You know?
No headaches.
Not that I'm promoting that, but you know, if that's what you want to do, you know, maybe that's an option for you. You know, I want to ask you this real quick. About so I'm thinking about polygamy, and I'm like, okay, when we talk about polygamy in the United States, it's like, oh, I don't want to share, and so you hear these kind of arguments. Well, you sharing the, you know what I mean, y'all sharing dudes, but y'all just don't know it. That's one thing, but then like, if a woman is willing to deal with a married man that has a wife in another country, or girlfriend in another country, or fiance, then why is she okay with sharing you in that situation? If you know, why is she okay with sharing you with a woman that lives in another country, but she's not okay with you with sharing your woman and a woman is in proximity? So I don't get that. But they say they against polygamy.
Because it's easy to believe the lie that I tell myself. It's easy for me to lie to myself, you know, or she to lie to herself. Oh, well, his wife is in Japan while he's here in the States. So it's not really, it's almost like, to them, it's almost like sleeping with somebody in a separate relationship. You see, they haven't divorced yet, but they're separated. And they've been separated a couple years. So she convinced herself that they're separated. They're still technically married, but she's over there on that part of the world. He's here with me. And so, hey, he break my back end properly. Therefore, you see what I'm saying? They excuse themselves out, but let you do it. Let you do it as a black man. You sleeping with that man's wife. He in the military over there protecting he's in Kuwait, and you breaking his, you dirty brother. You dirty. You sleeping with that military man, you dirty. See, you brothers ain't right. Y'all sleep with anything. You see what I'm saying? How come women, y'all don't sleep with anything sometimes? Y'all just sleep with anything sometimes. How come it's always us just sleep with anything? Y'all have babies by some of anything. Statistically, over 80% of black children are born to 20% of black men. There are more men that are virgins in the United States than there are women between the age of 18 and 30. The average man, 30% of all average men will be a virgin by the time he hits 30 years old. You can't say that anymore about women. I'll repeat, but by the time a man hits 30% of all men will still be a virgin. And yet y'all keep choosing that 20% of men that's having 80% of the babies. So you can't blame it on the other 80% of us, because I ain't got no kids. He only got one shorty. So all these kids that's being born in the black community, 20% of the dudes hitting y'all up. Them dudes got 3 kids, 4 kids, 8 kids. I know dudes with 12 kids, 11 kids, by 7 baby mamas. So it ain't us that's getting you knocked up. So when you sit back, you criticize our choices, y'all keep choosing them same 20%. Same 20%. So when you gonna learn? And that's statistics.
Wow, I didn't know. So I didn't know a lot of those stats, man. I didn't know, man.
Yeah,
that's deep, bro. Deep. So wrapping up, man. Let's try to go over the 3 P's again, man. You know, run them down.
Okay. We got 4 P's now.
4 P's. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. First P that we start off with, and the topic for tonight, just to reiterate, is why is it that women can't understand that men, and I even put it like this: why is it that Americans, because there are women out there that are having serious relationships with guys in foreign countries as well. So we're going to put it: why is it that our fellow Americans cannot understand that our relationship with somebody in another country can be serious, that we can't be wise enough to make a proper choice in mate if we decide to be with somebody in another country? And here's what the answer is. First of all, you find it problematic to believe the truth. That's the first P. You will not believe the truth. The fact that this man can be in love, the fact that I'm in love, the fact that when I was in the United States preparing to leave, those years I wasn't sexing nobody down unless I was coming here being with my wife, just like this man is doing. He was focusing on his money, focusing on his grind like I was. So, but it's problematic for you to accept the fact that we're just focused on our grind when we're in the United States, nothing more, nothing less. The other thing that's problematic, that's truth, that you can't accept, is you don't own us. You actually think because you gave birth to us, we should cater to only to the black woman in the United States and not all these other black women in other countries. You actually think you own us. No, we don't. Yeah, you treat us like that, though. You treat us like we owe you something. Like you owe us love. We are the women here. Your mama was black. What? Okay. So can the woman in Colombia say that? The black women in Colombia. But it's problematic for you to accept the fact that there are other black women in the world that we can love other than the Afro-American women. The other P is this. You find you are at peace with the lies that you tell yourself about us. Well, you only going there for the women. We just told you that there are black men that own businesses, black men that are learning new languages, black men that are entering into family dynamics that they couldn't enter to in the United States, because we all know the United States is not set up for family dynamics, just for economic dynamics. So you are at peace accepting the lie that the United States is telling you. And so are black men. Black men can't grasp the concept that a black woman can actually go to another country like Angela Bassett did, find love, and enjoy the rest of her life. So it's both of us that's doing that. The third P is because we were programmed. We were programmed. We all were. We were all stuck to the matrix. Not just you ladies, us. They told us that our Jordans weren't it anymore. So we bought another pair. They told us don't buy Jordans, get Yeezys. So we bought the Yeezys for $250, $300. They said the Yeezys ain't get, you better get those $300, $400 LeBrons. Same thing with you ladies. They told you this weave was in. Nope, that weave ain't in no more. This weave is in. Nope, that weave ain't in no more. You got to get the one with the baby hair on there now. So there's no way to keep America happy because they're constantly telling you to buy something. That's problematic. You've been programmed to actually believe this. You've been programmed to actually believe that can't nobody give us love other than somebody under the umbrella of the United States. You've been programmed to believe there's no true value in getting a passport and starting businesses and having families in another country, whether you be a male or a female. You've been told that you can't try. It's too dangerous, girl. If you go out there and travel by yourself, it's something gonna happen to you. You've been programmed to believe that. The only reason they're trying to tell you that is so you can keep your tail in the United States, don't never leave the United States, and keep your tail paying taxes so Biden and Trump can keep their kids looking good and their kids got passports, but you don't have one. Biden child got one. The child, what? How old? They didn't have Biden children are adults. His grandkids got passports, and you ain't got a passport because they want you to stay in the country, feeding and taking care of their kids. The last P is this: protection. You ladies have yet to realize that men have learned to protect their dollars like we did in the United States. It was easy for us to sit up there and blow 10,000 on a Rolex, blow 10,000 on blow $600, $700 on a pair of Jordans. Now you're hearing brothers talk about, I'm about to buy some NFTs. I'm about to buy some crypto. I'm about to buy some Bitcoin. I'm about to buy some Ethereum. Oh, did you hear about the do we not talk like that in the travel groups now? Yep. Everybody's talking about investing in something. If it were not for these men, I could easily say I would not have made the amount of money that I made over the last year if it was not for the shout out to Richie Rich roller tape and other men like him that introduce us to different type of investments. And then other guys in other travel groups that say, hey, if you come to DR, you can buy a condo or you can buy a villa on the beach and stuff. We didn't talk like that as black men to each other in the barbershops.
Right.
But you ladies are so programmed to not understand that we're learning to protect our monies now. And we're learning to protect the image of the black man. To where in the United States, we just let it flow. All our hip hop music, I'm not that man. We're violent. When in the United States, when you walk past the brothers, all this, ain't no smiling, ain't no feeling. Look at this smile. These smiles are paid for. These smiles sponsor us. We weren't doing that in the United States. Every think about it. In the States, every photo like this.
Yeah.
Now you see pictures of black men and smiles all over the place. You seeing black men put money into orphanages. You seeing black men putting money into black communities. You can go on YouTube and find black men that are feeding families in other countries as well as in the United States. Yep. So we learned to protect our money because in the United States, we weren't thinking about feeding the hungry and putting money in the orphanages and none of that stuff. We weren't doing the Annie. Now we're doing the Annie thing. Mm-hmm. So those are the four things, the four reasons why you cannot understand why we as black men, and a lot of black men can't understand why black women or American women are making the moves with their passport the way that they do. And I believe it. I give anybody the benefit of the doubt for the most part. If a dude say I met my wife in DR and she's a good woman, so be. Because I've personally met some great couples in DR. Great couples in DR.
Let me give a shout out.
A woman said I met my husband. Go ahead, brother. Take your time.
Shout out to Ashley in Africa, man. She's been on my channel twice. So
shout out to Ashley.
And she's an example of a woman that took her passport and explored Africa, man. So, and she's encouraged other women to do it too. So, shout out to her.
That's what's up, man. And that's all I say. I don't just talk about the brothers going out there and get it. I see what hell women go through with us men. Like I said, y'all having babies by them little 20%, and they putting y'all through hell and high water to be the fathers that they should be. Not all, but many of that 20% are. But at the end of the day, you ain't got to put up with that mess, especially if your child either old enough to take care of themselves and you in your early 40s and your child 20 and he went off into the military and it's just you now. If you don't use that passport and live your best, get your back broke in Zimbabwe. Find out what it's like to have an orgasm in Mozambique. Find out what it's like to go down on a brother in Brazilian or Afro-Brazilian. Find out what it's like to just or climb a mountain or to purchase something that you've never a painting or something in another country. Find out what it's like. Use your passports, boo. Use your passport. Don't let these men just be out here enjoying their lives, their best lives. Ladies, enjoy your best life too.
And they'll learn a lot about us by traveling. They'll be like, okay, now I kind of see what's going on. Now I kind of understand. They'll learn a lot.
And it's almost. Do you notice this almost like a clarity of mind or a oneness of mind among travelers? Like I'll meet a sister that's traveling by herself, and it's almost like an understanding that's among travelers that you don't have to say. You don't have to say, why are you traveling? Why are you by yourself? You don't have to say that. You understand it. You understand whether she's in a group or whether she's by herself. You see a brother, we all smiles. We don't do that when am I lying? No, you see a brother. Ain't no head nod. Ain't no photos with everybody like this. Don't nobody do that as travelers. We got clarity. We got understanding about each other and respect for each other. Go ahead, brother.
See, Jordan Peace, Prince of Judah. They've been doing that, bro. Women been traveling. It's time for us brothers to catch the wave. Yeah,
Yep.
man.
Yeah,
I can tell you a situation, man. I remember I was in DR, Sosua, and you know, you see a lot of older white women, and and they be in Africa too, and it's kind of like how we do with the brothers. Like we walking past and we kind of know like what's up. And like I walk past like these ladies, you know, they be kind of shy, but we know what you're here for. You know what I mean? So it's just like a friendly, like, what up? You know,
take care of that
good.
girl. You know why you in Sosua. This is Sosua. You ain't here by mistake. I ain't mad at you. Get it in.
Get it in, man. So it's that's the understanding.
They come down. Man. They want a threesome too. I understand, ladies. Ladies, you don't want to have your first threesome in the States, so you have one outside the States. You got a couple brothers in there, you know, mandinga when you down. I ain't mad at you. I am not mad at you.
Yeah, man, it's crazy, man. You know, me and Ashley, we did a topic on because she had talked about being in Africa and the healing process she went through, and you know, we talked about femininity, and and in a lot of that healing, she was, we talked about her and women in that situation able to become in their natural feminine form, being removed from the corporate connotation and just being removed from just a lot of the things that go on in the matrix. And I posed this question: can Black men from the U.S. and Black women from the U.S., could we coexist? Could we have better relationships if we both, let's say, lived in if we were both expats and we both went through that healing process? Because I had to go through a healing process, so to speak.
Me too.
So a Black man and a Black woman as expats in another country maybe can, coexist. And I asked her this question too, which really convinced me of how being in Africa, changed her mindset. I asked her, if an American man wanted to marry you in Africa, but let's just say he didn't want to register the marriage in the U.S., but y'all just be married in that specific country, would you be okay with that? And she was like, I wouldn't. She said she wouldn't mind that. So she respected the fact that whatever that man reason might be, he may want to protect his pockets, or he just don't want to be a part of that system. And her growth put her in a situation where not necessarily her, but a woman in general don't want to take advantage of a situation. Just want love and respect and peace.
Right.
So
that's a good point, brother.
So living out the country or visiting other countries, I think is beneficial for both, for Black men and Black women.
Yeah. Oh yeah, without a doubt. And the relations of communication the doors of communication begin to open when we're living beach life, or when we're at a lunch table and you see somebody that's from the States and you get to conversing about the why. Okay, why you here? Blah blah blah. How you liking it? How you just really begin to have communication about what's going on. And you hear so many stories about, I went through a divorce, or my kids are older, and so now I decided to travel. And to whereas the communication back home, we're so busy working and grinding that we don't just get a chance to just sit down as Black men and Black women and just talk. And it's not me versus you conversation. It's just conversation. And so I really believe that travel opens that up. Like you were just saying, travel opens that up for us as Black people to understand things a lot better. So, but I can say this. Let me ask you this. Even though, let's say you were single and you are in your favorite country, whatever that is, and a sister from the States came along, can you see yourself messing with a sister from the States? Why you in your favorite country?
Yeah, if the attraction is there, I definitely would. I mean, if like I said, if she's on a program, she wants to live there, and you know, what I mean, she respects how I want to protect my pockets and legacy. Yeah, I'll be all for it. I mean, it'll probably be
You're a
a
bigger
easier.
man than me.
Really?
I didn't fly 6 hours, 9 hours to be with a sister. And I don't want that sister to feel like she flew 9 hours and 6 hours to be with another American. Girl, get you a foreigner. You flew all this way for a foreigner, and so did I. No, we could be friends, buddies. You could put me in the friend zone. I'll put you, because I'm putting you in the friend zone. But no, we ain't. No, you can't get none. You can't get no sex from me in the States, and you can't get no sex from me outside of the States.
On vacation or if I was just living there.
I'm talking about in any way. Don't flirt with me. Don't bat your eye at me. No, you from the States. No, I didn't fly all the way out here to be with them. I could have stayed in the States for all that. If I wanted to be with an American chick, I could have just kept my tail where I was around American women and found me a good American woman, right? So quite obvious, I didn't find what I was looking. Sisters, let me put it like this. I gave you 49 years to get me right. You couldn't get me right in 49 years. I ain't going back. Not saying that I'm against my sisters. I'm talking about American women. Italian women, you couldn't get me right. Latin women in the States, you couldn't get me right. Asian women, Indian women, Native American. I'm talking about East Asia women. None of y'all could get me right in the States. Therefore, if I see you outside the States, you just go remind me of how y'all couldn't get me right for 49 years. So I'm going to stick with whatever country I'm in. So if I caught a woman in Thailand, guess what I'm going to be? I'm going to be zooming my tail to Thailand. But I'll be dang if I'm going to hook up with an American chick. No offense, American woman. While I'm in a foreign country, I didn't fly all this way out here just to meet what I already had at the house. That's like you work at a pizza shop in the States and you fly all the way to Brazil just to eat a Brazilian pizza. What? No, not Andre. You're a bigger man than I am. I ain't gonna even lie like that. I ain't gonna be living in Brazil with an American wife and I'm glancing at all these beautiful Brazilians. I wish I had me one. I might as well cheat on my American wife who's so faithful to me. Man, please. I ain't gonna sit up there and put that woman through all that.
Bobby Johnson, OG. I can't see myself doing that. It's the opposite.
Thank you.
Man.
Thank you. I'm in Brazil and I got an American wife. Please. That is never gonna happen.
I asked Ashley that. I said, do you think women? Well, I asked, would you date men from the U.S. and Africa? She was like, yeah. And I was like, it's surprising because most men will not say yeah. They do not want to see. They do not want to see a chick from the Matrix, man, in another country. I mean, I'm the same way, but I'm saying, huh?
I'm cool with women. Go ahead, finish your thought, brother.
No, I was just gonna say, on vacation, no, I'm not trying to go down that path. But if I was single and I was living there, it'd be kind of hard to believe me being single for a while. Because if I move to wherever country I decide, as a single man, I shouldn't be single for long. You know,
yeah, I'm a relationship type dude too. So yeah.
Yeah, some women don't scoop me up anyway. But if I was, and you know, the stars align, you know what I mean? I wouldn't totally like dismiss it. But
I am.
Kids are off the table though. That's the only thing with American kids are off the table.
Everything off the table with me. I ain't gonna even lie to you. I ain't gonna put the sister through it. Sisters ain't never got to worry. If I was single, it ain't a sister alive. Let's put it like this. It ain't an American woman alive that got to worry about Andre hitting on her ever, no, never again. If I was single, never. It ain't in the United States. Ain't gonna happen, and it dang sure ain't gonna happen outside. Like I said, I'm in Colombia, surrounded by Venezuelans and Brazilians and Asians and women from Libya and even the little short women from the indigenous women. And I'm gonna marry an American woman. Listen, If I start dating an American woman, I'm cheating. I'm cheating. I'm letting you know now. If I had married American, if I'm in another country, man, if I'm in Brazil, I'm cheating with Brazilians. You might as well get ready for that. Andre, I'll marry you. Okay, you know you American, right? Yeah. Okay, you know I'm gonna cheat on you with all these Brazilians around here, right? You know that, right? Why don't I just marry what I want? And that's what I did with Andrea. I married what I want, and that's why I don't cheat. I married the height I wanted, the look I wanted. I told myself I refuse to compromise on the type of wife, physically, emotionally, spiritually, that I wanted. Because in the United States, we compromise so much with each other as people. And so I said, one of the gifts I wanted to give myself was the relationship that I really deserve to be in and be the type of person that that person deserved to have. And so far, so good. But marrying an American woman and outside of the United States, that's not gonna happen. And I want American woman to look at me the same way. He American. I don't want him. That's exactly how I want her to think. I didn't come here to DR to be with an American man. I didn't come to Jamaica to be with an American man. I want me a full-fledged Jamaican. That's how I want her to act. I want one of them DR boys that can do bachata with the best of them. She should be like that. She should look at me like, what are you in my face for, American?
Well, my final statement message is, don't think that a woman in another country is less than because she's not here with you. You know what I mean? She's just as on par with you, in any other woman. So, don't discount another woman or man just because he's in another country,
True.
That's my final thought.
All right, brother. Well, I appreciate being on your show. That's my final thought. Once again, this Andre Love Crossing Borders. Appreciate, anytime you let me in and do my little rants and give my little piece. Because I always try to be as transparent and honest, and I'll tell you why. This is my final statement. There's enough on YouTube that's telling men and women lies. They make it seem like it's just Shangri-La and all the women are gonna just fall over you. That's a lie.
Right.
You don't have to put in any work. All the women in Colombia is gonna want you. All the DR women go. That's a lie. And so when it's guys like you and myself that tell the honest truth to men and the honest truth to women, now it's their responsibility to walk in the truth, because they can't say that you lied to them about women in Colombia. They can't say that I lied to them about men and women in Colombia. We just told them the truth about passport life and what it's like. And that's why I appreciate your channel and what you're doing, brother, because you're going to help a lot of dudes that have been listening to so many lies on YouTube and on Facebook. We put in work to be in the positions that we're in with our relationship. This is work.
Yes. Work, man. Yeah, appreciate you, bro, man. Till next time, man. We out.
All right, brother. I'm out.